WGN Sports.
Cubs are wrapping up their 17th and final year here at Ho-Ho-Com Park in Mesa. They break camp on Thursday, and this is our final WGN telecast from this ballpark with the Cubs as the home team. The Cubs take on the Angels today, and we welcome Cub fans from all over the country watching on WGN America, America's home for baseball. Hi again, everyone. Along with Jim DeShays, I'm Len Casper. Again, the Cubs starting to smell opening day. It's April 1st in Pittsburgh here on WGN. And today, JD, we get a look at the Cubs' biggest free agent signing over the last couple of years, Edwin Jackson.
Yeah, 4-year deal for Edwin Jackson this winter. He'll be the second man out of the chute following Jeff Samardzija. And then he'll pitch the home opener at Wrigley Field. Edwin Jackson, a good, durable, solid, middle-of-rotation type guy throughout his major league career. Fans are going to like him. He's a real bulldog, real good competitor, having a very good spring last time out. 6 innings of 3-hit, 1-run baseball.
Joe Blanton, a right-hander, will go for the split squad Angels. The Cubs continuing yesterday to hit the ball out of the ballpark. Darwin Barney and Dioner Navarro going deep in the 9th inning in a win over Milwaukee. Chicago Cubs baseball in high definition on WGN TV is brought to you by Xfinity, your home for the most live sports. Chicago Cubs baseball is brought to you by Budweiser. A reminder from Budweiser, great times are waiting. Designated driver. And by Ford. Go further in any one of Ford's many fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Always great to see Hall of Famer Fergie Jenkins here at the ballpark again today. A huge crowd on hand here at Ho-Ho-Com. Another gorgeous day. Let's check in on the Angels lineup. This is a split squad. Most of their regulars are in the lineup in Tempe. So here we go. J.B. Shuck is at center. Luis Rodriguez at second. Cole Calhoun is at right. There's one starter. Chris Iannetta off to a great start here in the spring. Brendan Harris, a former Cub. Scott Cousins is at left. Efren Navarro at first. Andrew Romine, the shortstop. And Joe Blanton, the pitcher.
Well, let's take a look at the Cubs defensively this afternoon. An outfield of Hairston, DeJesus, and Shearholes. And as you look at that infield alignment, Valbueno, Castro, and Barney have all played errorless baseball so far this spring. Rizzo's committed one miscue over there at first. Solid work defensively by the Cubs this spring. Deanna Navarro is behind the plate, and veteran right-hander Edwin Jackson on the bump. Last year, 10-11, 4.03 ERA. That was with the Washington Nationals. Made 31 starts. Hard-throwing right-hander with one of the better fastballs in terms of velocity in the National League. He mixes in a good hard slider and a changeup as well.
At the umpires, Mike Muchlinski back of the plate. Tim McClellan following the Cubs around this weekend. Scott Barry and Corey Glazer. Three men will work the bases. 73 feels 73 in the shade and a lot warmer in the sun. Yeah, the forecast is cool, but that's cool for Arizona. So instead of 83, it's 73. We'll take it.
Beautiful day to play. It's going to be an interesting day with the lineup that the Angels have brought over because of the split squad game. Very few recognizable faces in the lineup here. It starts with J.B. Shuck, a former Astro, mostly minor league.
So Jackson's been really good. His last two outings combined 11 innings, 2 runs. Belt high fastball for a strike, and we're underway. Valbuena in at third. A soft liner to center, and it's DeJesus to make the grab for the out. We'll actually see the Angels home and away during interleague play, and we're going to see those 4 guys. But they're not here today. They're over in Tempe.
A lot of firepower, and that's why a lot of people are picking the Angels to win the American League West. There are some question marks in that starting rotation for the Angels, but they will score, should score, a ton of runs.
Now switch hitting Luis Rodriguez, ball 1. Among that trio we just showed you, Albert Pujols coming along slowly after knee surgery, dealing with foot issues, but I would imagine he'll be ready when the bell rings. What is he, smells the bell?
He smells the bell, yeah, he can smell the bell. Would you have contemplated 2 years ago Albert Pujols being on any team where you might have an argument as to who the best player on the club was? But that's the, with Trout and Hamilton there now. Pretty impressive group.
It's a 1-1 that's high. See a lot of four-seamers from Edwin Jackson, as you mentioned.
According to Fangraphs, his average velocity last year, 93.5 miles an hour. That was in the top 10 in Major League Baseball. He gets a lot of swings and misses on his hard lane-changing slider. So it's mostly a power game from Jackson. He doesn't try to trick you that often with the slow stuff.
Navarro was calling for the slider. Lifted in the air to left. Hairston coming in to make the grab. It is a little breezy today. It looks like the wind is blowing out toward right. Maybe in from left a bit. Your first move on a fly ball in Arizona is always toward the fence.
Or at least hold your ground, right? Don't be in a hurry to come in. The way the ball carries here. Take an extra beat to read it.
Cole Calhoun.
It's interesting. You would never argue as a pitcher that you would prefer to face Trout and Pujols and Hamilton and Trumbo and all those guys. But there is a particular challenge when you face a lineup like this, because Edwin Jackson probably has no book whatsoever on most of these hitters. I doubt that there's a whole lot of information on Cole Calhoun available to the Cubs, other than minor league guys that have played against them.
Chris Bosio, the Cubs pitching coach, as he looks on. The inside corner. 1-2.
Most pitchers would tell you, though, they pitch to their strength anyway. They're not going to get overly concerned, especially in spring training, about trying to exploit the weaknesses of most hitters. They're just going to try to do their thing.
We'll chat live with Dale Swain, the Cubs manager, in a couple of innings, and his thoughts on camp in general and the 25-man roster. Picture is a little clearer after some more cuts yesterday. Inside. Full count, 3-2. On the outside corner. We're called strike three. So a quick 1-2-3 for Jackson. The Cubs are coming up.
So.
Lineup, David DeJesus, red hot. Starlin Castro hitting rockets all over the place yesterday. Rizzo, Hairston, Sherholtz, Deanna Navarro with a homer in the ninth inning against Milwaukee. Luis Valbuena's at third. Darwin Barney went deep for the game-winning blast, and Edwin Jackson, the pitcher, hits ninth.
Set the Angels rather defensively here this afternoon. Cousin Shuck Calhoun in the outfield. Here's Rodriguez Navarro third to first. Ionetta behind the plate for the veteran right-hander Joe Blanton.
You mentioned their rotation. They'll have a very solid twosome at the top. Jared Weaver and C.J. Wilson. But three veteran starters gone from the end of last year as Blanton deals high for a ball. Zach Greinke, Dan Herron, and Irvin Santana. So Blanton, Jason Vargas, Tommy Hanson. Replacing those guys, as you see Blanton's numbers last year. Phillies and Dodgers.
And Blanton's been a pretty reliable guy over the years. Slot him in at the 3 or 4 spot in your rotation. You feel pretty comfortable. I think the really key for the Angels is Tommy Hanson. A guy with, when he first came up with the Braves, had tremendous upside. He's had some injury issues. If he takes a big step forward, that could be a real difference maker in that division. Blanton 83 and 75 in his major league career.
Change up. 2-2 on DeJesus. Has a 10-game hitting streak. We are reachable via email, Facebook, and Twitter. Just for fun, I think you should email us, Facebook message us, and tweet us. And hopefully we'll pick one.
That's kind of like hitting for the cycle.
Technological cycle. Romine for the out. Now Starlin Castro comes in at 462 limited plate appearances this spring. Big crowd. It was fun to watch when they opened the grass berm areas. It was kind of like when they opened the bleachers before a day game at Wrigley. Everyone racing to their seats.
Scramble out there with their blankets to claim their space.
Yep.
Slather on the suntan lotion.
Oh, one big swing and a miss.
Joe Blanton, he throws a lot of strikes. He stays very tall in his delivery, stays on that backside, and that allows him to get on top of the ball and drive it downhill. And when he's throwing that fastball down around the knees, complement it with the breaking ball. He's got a nice mix of pitches, throws both the curve and the slider. He'll cut his fastball, and pretty good changeup too that he'll feature to the left-handed hitters.
Well, most guys start with their toes pointed generally in the direction of home plate, but he's off to the side. Not a lot of movement as he goes into that windup as he strikes out Castro.
Breakdown left and right on Blanton last year.
He looks like he's starting from the stretch.
Yeah, probably just trying to eliminate some excess movement in his delivery, trying to keep it simple. Really, it all happens kind of from that, when you get balanced over the rubber with the leg up, once you're there, that's where it all happens.
Hard on one hop, Rodriguez will get Rizzo. Each pitcher goes in order.
Golden Corral.
And you walk outside and you see the fan support just showed up for the event, and it's amazing. Anytime you can get that kind of fan support, it definitely makes you look forward to getting ready to have a good season. Bill's been cool. He's been cool so far. He's a man of few words, you know, but he knows the game. He's very intellectual. But he's a straight shooter. That's all you can ask for in a manager. Someone is going to keep it, you know, keep it honest with you. And as a player, that's all you can ask for. Man, I go into it, as long as you do what you have to do, then you don't really worry about the elements. I mean, every field, all field has advantages and disadvantages, but you can't really worry about that when you're out there in the field. You just have to do what you do and trust in your stuff and trust that guys behind you can make plays and then go out and have fun. My job is to go out and you know, battle. You might not have your best stuff every game, but as long as your team know that you're not going to give in, you're going to go out there and you're going to give it all you have for as long as you can. And hope for the best. That's all you can do for it. But I've never been a person, you know, I may bend, but I won't break. You know, you just go out there and you fight for your team.
Good stuff from Edwin Jackson, who got Chris Iannetta on a ground out. Now former Cub Brendan Harris takes a strike. One question people had about Jackson when he signed with the Cubs is, why in the world has he been with all these different teams? Dodgers, Rays, Tigers, Diamondbacks, White Sox, Cardinals, Nationals, and now the Cubs. And the short answer is simply that because of his talent, a lot of teams, realizing they weren't going to be able to sign him to a long-term deal, decided to make trades to bring back prospects or other players in return for Edwin. It had nothing to do with him as a pitcher or as a teammate.
No, just the opposite. He has a great reputation around the game. Because that's what you think. The guy's been moved this much. He must be a malcontent. But everywhere he's gone, when you talk to people with those clubs, they say, no. Great guy in the clubhouse. Just a good, solid teammate.
Backhanded play by Castro. 5 up, 5 down for Jackson.
Hey fans, you have a group looking for a great spot to enjoy sunshine, baseball, and all you can eat and drink at Wrigley Field this summer? How about the Budweiser Patio? It gives you the opportunity to do this in prime home run territory. Bring your best guests inside the ballpark this season. For more information and to purchase tickets, call 773-404-4200 or visit Cubs.com/premier.
There's the Mesa version. Budweiser Patio out there in right field. Scott Cousins takes a breaking ball low. And the other thing about Jackson, I almost wonder, and you look at his life, son of a military man. He was born in the former West Germany, moved around a lot as a youngster. I just think as a big leaguer, it hasn't been a big deal to him to move around a lot. And some guys probably wanted security earlier in their career and may have signed a below market contract to stay in one place, but that just has not been his career path to this point. Another 1-2-3 for Edwin Jackson.
Get more
make sure you stop at Chucky's and pick up a breaded pork tenderloin sandwich. Down here from Iowa. And we thank Chucky's for taking care of us today. Good stuff. Scott Hairston. Swinging strike. Nothing in the bottom of the second.
That was a good appetizer in advance of the cheeseburger we had over at the WGN party.
You did have a salad. I have to point that out. So your mindset, based on what I saw you do today, is just try to even it out. A little good, a little bad.
Exactly.
Split the difference.
And it depends on whether you work out or not.
Right.
You can go all in and do the whole shooting match.
Well, that's the other part, is where does potato salad fall into that? Because it has salad in the name.
Salad in the name. It's got to be good for you.
I'm going to go with it. Scott Hairston had a really good power season last year with the Mets. He hit 20 home runs in under 400 plate appearances, slugged .504, and he golfs this one high in the air to left. Cousins battling the elements. No style points, just make the catch, and he did.
Well, that's really the key on that play. You call the fair catch, you just have to secure the ball and just make sure you don't fumble it, and then go ahead and let your offense take over from there. I love the body language. It's just so mad as could be. I can't win. This guy's killing me.
Ball one low to Sherholtz. I know one guy Nate talked to very early on in spring training. Well, two guys. David DeJesus, who played a lot of right last year. But the point guy for playing outfield at Wrigley, Hall of Famer Billy Williams, who I don't believe is still in camp with the Cubs. But Billy always talks to the new outfielders and gives them all the pointers on, I think, the most difficult right field in all of baseball, with all the elements at Wrigley. One thing he told DeJesus last year is check that wind between every pitch, because it can change that
the
quickly.
way it swirls in the ballpark.
Here comes the 2-2, and he got him.
Are you looking a way to make your business stand out from the competition? Host your best customers and guests in a private suite at Wrigley Field. Nuveen Investment Suites can accommodate anywhere from 15 to 55 guests and include food, all you can drink beverages, and parking. To book your premier experience at the ballpark, visit Cubs.com/suites or call that magic number 773-403-4200. Operators are standing by.
Switch hitting Deanna Navarro, the only switch hitter in Cubs camp. 2-0.
Having a nice spring. 3 jacks, 11 driven in, hitting better than 300.
He went.
Breakdown for Navarro from the left side, hit 327. The other side, not so good. That makes a good match with Wellington Castillo, who just wore out left-handed pitching last year.
Ground ball to first, backhanded by Efren Navarro to end the inning after 2-0. Tonight. Walking through the concourse here at Ho-Ho-Com Park / Stadium, kind of interchangeable. Check out some Cubs gear. And again, we have a full house here. It's a very nice Saturday.
Jammed out there in the berm. Berm's Joe. Is it really? That's Myers.
We use a lot of spring training terminology that we don't really utilize much after we get out of Arizona. So we need to tell people what some of these things mean.
Right out of the dictionary. Well, look at that. A narrow ledge or shelf as along the top or bottom of a slope.
I suppose you could call that a grass slope, but berm is a lot easier to say. Jackson's been solid here early.
You know that in Pennsylvania, Ohio, Indiana, and West Virginia, berm is the shoulder of a road.
Makes sense.
So if you were watching this game in one of those states and said, hey, there's people out on the berm watching the game, you'd be a little concerned for their safety, would you not? Get off the freaking berm. You're going to get hit by a car.
Jackson's 1-2 to Navarro, and it's inside.
Edwin Jackson, you know, we talked about his travels, and there have been many, but the one thing I think that may surprise a lot of fans who paid attention, because he has been around so long, he's still a young guy. He's only 28 years old. He first came to the big leagues with the Dodgers back in, I reckon he was 19 years of age.
This is a field base hit. It's the first hit of the ball game.
Take that. Got a no-hitter on his resume.
Yeah, 149 pitch no-hitter because of 8 walks. It was with Arizona 3 years ago.
You know, the other thing, and we were talking about him last inning, and it ended abruptly, which for him is a good thing, but sometimes for us not so good because you can't finish your point. He'll finish it after he gets his ground ball here. Oh, geez. On 96. You remember a couple years ago with the Cardinals? They were short in the pen, and Tony had to leave him in there, and he just got his brains beat in. He gave up 11 or 12 earned runs. I never heard one word out of him complaining. Other people did, said, Tony should have pulled him, shouldn't have left him in there. I didn't hear one thing from Jackson complaining about that. No, that's my job. I just pitch till they tell me not to pitch anymore. That's the kind of guy you want on your club.
Goes back to being a good teammate. He's been durable. At least 31 starts in 6 consecutive seasons. Pitch to Romine is a strike. We're going to see that a lot from Navarro and Castillo, as we talked about yesterday. It was close play at first.
Yeah, you know, you're not going to get many guys. Every now and then you'll lock somebody up if they get the pickoff, but you're just going to tighten them up a little bit. You're going to shorten that secondary lead, and that could be the difference between safe or out on a ball in the gap or a ball into a corner with a good relay home. You'll just tighten that guy up a little bit with his secondary lead. Shorten his jump on a potential steal.
Yeah, JD, I think they got him. If he tagged him right there, he's out.
Yeah.
But you also see the umpire in the background can't see on the other side of Rizzo's foot. There's Mike Borzello. I don't know where you stand on replay overall. And I don't know if we'll ever get to the point where that play would be reviewable. But I believe it's Corey Blazer over there at first. He really could not see where the tag was applied from that angle.
No, and I don't know that. For me, I would not be in favor of replaying a play like that.
Jesus backing up. And he's got it for the out.
Unless you went to the football style, right, where the manager could throw his flag to appeal it. But I think a manager, if he had one or two appeals in his pocket, he would save them for run scoring plays or trap ball in the outfield, and out that could have been a catch or an extra base hit.
Well, we can ask Dale that question if it comes up in the bottom of this inning. So Blanton, former National Leaguer, has done this before, and that bunt goes foul. Rob Piccolo, the bench coach, is managing the club. Mike Scioscia's over in Tempe. The bunt down, and Rizzo will have to take the out at first. Blanton actually with a home run in the World Series in 08. Hey, Cub fans, don't forget to check out Len and JD's baseball blog at WGNTV.com. It is sponsored by Jeff Vukovich, your nationwide insurance agent, serving the area for 34 years. To join the nation, contact Jeff at jeffvuk.com. Nationwide is on your side. Look forward to checking out JD's post today. You were working very hard on it this morning.
Yeah, I was grinding away. Talk about the difference between spring training in Florida and Arizona.
We have some nice, pretty shots of spring training. Good photos to check out as well. Shuck went after the high pitch, fouled it off. 0-2. From upstate New York, a lot of cornfields up there, or not?
Some.
Have you ever shucked corn?
I've not shucked corn. Well, I've husked corn. Is there a difference between husking and shucking?
Well, I open a can of worms I probably would rather not have.
Sympathetic hop from Castro.
It's a fair ball, and it'll give the Angels the lead. J.B. Shuck with a run-scoring double, and it's 1-0.
J.B. Shuck, one of those guys coming up to the minor leagues with the Astros, is a high average hitter with not a lot of power, not great speed. So one of those tweener type guys, but he can handle the bat. He always had a high on base presence and was able to hit for high average. Nice swing there, and the Angels have an early lead.
Rodriguez with a ground ball. This time Rizzo will flip to the pitcher.
There we go.
Angels get on the board. 1-0 they lead. Luis Valbuena will get his first at bat today, and we have with us down on the field Cubs manager Dale Swain. Dale, how are you?
Good, guys. How you doing?
Doing fine, thanks. Hey, you know, before we get into the team stuff, we've been talking a lot about the uniqueness of spring training, things that you don't see once the regular season starts. Guys jogging on the warning track during games. We saw Tim McClellan calling balls and strikes from behind the mound last week. And you and a couple of your coaches sitting outside the dugout. It's gone on that way for a long time. Is that one of the reasons so you can have conversations during spring training kind of out of the way of everybody else?
Yeah, a little bit. But I think it's a little bit more of a convenience thing. You can see the game a little bit better and angles, and I can get signs to David Bell a lot easier, third base coach, and those kind of things. But it's probably more that it's been going on for a long time, so we just do it.
Right. That's the way baseball works.
Exactly. And Jamie can work on his tan.
Yeah, all of us.
Yeah.
So how do you feel about the ball club here as we break camp on Thursday and head off to Houston?
Well, I mean, on paper it's, tremendously, versatile compared to last year. The bullpen we got a lot of guys that throw strikes. We got a more versatile lineup where we got, all defensive players as well as offense. We can put 4 or 5 left-handers in a lineup, as well as, a lot of righties against a lefty. So, missing Garza a little bit, but, we went out and got some depth during the winter, and then obviously it's paying off right now.
Spring training can be tough sometimes on fielders. The infielders, they're baked in the sun. They tend to play hard. You have to be pleased with the way you guys have played defensively. I was looking at the stat sheet today, and Valbuena, Castro, and Barney not an error amongst them.
Yeah, they played really well. We knew going in that we should have one thing we should have is a very good defensive team in the infield and the outfield. So not a lot of tremendous speed, but we do have guys that can catch the ball and very accurate throwers.
Edwin Jackson's been good again today. He's had a very good first spring. We were talking about his travels throughout the big leagues, and gets high marks from everywhere he's been.
Yeah, I mean, he's struggled in the past in his spring trainings, and obviously he's doing really well this spring training, and just a wonderful guy, character-wise, work ethic, and everything. It's a great sign for us, and as well as a lot of other players on this team. The guy's a first-class act and does a lot of good things. Obviously on the field too, but off the field he's tremendous also.
Now, I'm sure the second spring is just easier for you because you've seen all these guys for one calendar year. I don't want to put words in your mouth, but going back to a year ago, if I mention Alfonso Soriano, I mean, he's become kind of one of the, as you said, one of your favorite guys you've ever been around in this game. And you weren't sure coming in, right? Because you heard all the stories.
Well, yeah. I mean, you look on the other side of the fence sometimes, and heard coming in right after I got the job, how good a guy he was, and obviously, it turned out that way. He's just one of the most tremendous, people off the field, on the field, in the clubhouse that you're going to be around, and his work ethic is unmatched for a guy that's that old and a guy that's making that kind of money.
Yeah, nice to have veterans who kind of lead the way. It takes a little pressure off of you.
Well, yeah, when you got those guys in the clubhouse, with the young guys, Castro, Soriano's been great for Castro, and just a year ago, made a comment today, somebody how much Castro's matured over a year. His work ethic, his quantity, his quality, and everything like that. And you can attribute a lot of that to Soriano.
Yeah, I've got a question on Castro for you. Looking at some numbers yesterday, just watching him hit yesterday, first of all, I started to think a little bit about Miguel Tejada, a guy with that great eye-hand coordination, could hit just about every kind of pitch. What kind of power upside do you see for Castro?
He's capable of doing some things. Last year, you look back, he ended up with 14, I think. Just like anything, he was almost a little bit like De Jesus that, hit a lot of, at Wrigley, probably hit 5, 6, 7 balls that are home runs in Miller Park or Cincinnati or anything like that. But, those guys hitting some tough luck when that wind was blowing in last year was the time they seemed to hit their balls. So, he's definitely, a guy that can turn into that 20 to 30 home run guy as soon as his pitch selection just gets a lot better.
So Jackson with the Cubs' first hit to keep this inning alive for David. Dale, so we get here late. We've seen a lot of your regulars. Most played the entire game yesterday. It's a lot different from a month ago, correct? When there was 2 or 3 at-bats and head on home. Yeah, well, you're getting everybody's legs underneath them to where they can play 9 and 2 or 3, 4 days in a row, and obviously getting the guys that are going to make the team that on the bench, a few starts also and at-bats before. The season starts, so it's a lot different now. There's not any time for rest. These guys need to get around their 60 to 70 at-bats before the season starts. Well, got to start thinking about packing that luggage here in a few days. Dale, thanks for the time. Let's have a fun year. Okay, guys. No problem. Baseball is brought to you by Bud Light. It's the sure sign of a good time. Here we go. Good eats.
Ooh, baby, look at that.
We're going to fatten you up, Jim Shays. Not only in Chicago, but around the National League. Gotten a few questions from Cub fans about the Rocky Mountain oysters that Bob and I had to sample a couple of years ago, and I have decided, I don't know why I get to make the decision, but I just did, and I think if I say it on the air, then it is so that is the WGN initiation, is that you have to try it. The Rocky Mountain oysters.
I may have had those once already.
Okay. But not the WGN shirt.
No, that's correct.
So, it's a bouncer to Rizzo, and we'll go 3-1. Angels lead 1-0 here in the 4th. Now, when I see that, I think of like June 15th, right? Saturday, June, and it's March 23rd.
Yeah.
But that's what you get. You're in Arizona. It feels like June in Chicago.
Get that baby away from that hot fire. My goodness.
Iannetta grounded to third his first time up.
Bogey's line, Bogart. Hot dog at the ballpark, better than a steak at the Ritz.
On the outside corner.
Well, that's where it all begins right there. That's a key location. Power right-hander could drive that fastball down and away to the outside edge, down around the knees. Command that pitch, you can have a lot of success.
And released into center.
We're a diverse group. We don't just show you the meat.
That's right. Get your greens, your asparagus. And we are not only on television, but the radio guys are here. Pat and Keith. They get to work every day.
This must be a big day. Keith ordered up that, or Pat ordered up the asparagus.
Yes,
right?
he's a fan. Yes. Ball really squared up. Brendan Harris this time back-to-back singles.
I talk about that down and away fastball. The last two are not so down and not away either. Kind of more out over the heart of the plate. These Angel hitters able to take advantage.
Scott Cousins, a former Marlin. At this point, and I know he really wants that to change. His major league career known more than anything else for ending Buster Posey's 2011 season with that home plate collision. So 2 on 1 out.
Yeah, that's the kind of deal where you hope you play in the big leagues long enough to put up some numbers where the storyline changes.
It's right through the legs of Navarro, and both runners will advance.
But if it doesn't, then that becomes a story. You know, later in life, you're hanging out with buddies at the bar. Yeah, I was the guy that ran over Posey.
I guess the irony of that whole thing was Cousins grew up a Giants fan.
Such a difficult call for a base runner coming down the line, whether to hit the catcher or not, because even if the catchers, they talk about, well, I'm giving the guy the back corner. Well, they're giving you that back corner with every intention of blocking that back corner when you slide to that part of the plate. They show it to you to entice you to go there, and then they're going to try to come back and drop down in front of that plate and block it. And nobody was better than Mike Scioscia, Cousins' new manager.
Fly to deep right. This is trouble. Off the wall. It's actually going to rest right there in the padding. 2-run score. And I believe because Sherholtz had some problems pulling it out of that crevice out there, Corey Blazer, the first base umpire, is going to send Cousins back to second. Now the only question here
trail runner should go back to third then, correct?
Now, I think the Angels have an argument, and I don't know the specific ground rule here, but I do know at Wrigley Field, if you reach into the ivy and then drop it, you can't stop the play. And it's happened before. What an outfielder should do at Wrigley is just put up his hands. But let's see what Sherholtz does here.
Nate looks a little undecided how to play this.
Did it leave the field? I think it actually went
rolled down to the bottom there.
Yeah, that's the right call.
He had to kind of hunt for it like an Easter egg.
So they'll give them both runs, but make Cousins stop at second. Well, that was a bizarre play.
Seems to me if you give him second base and the man on first should be on third right now.
Right center, and it'll be Sherholtz. Cousins heading back to the bag at second.
And that's one thing about spring training. You're not going to see too many arguments in spring training. Every now and then.
But the most controversial thing we've had in the Cactus League was Kirk Gibson and Dusty Baker arguing over the DH. Dusty thought he could use the DH, and Gibby said it's our home game and we don't want to. Outside to Navarro. I believe he is related to Deonner.
The Angels do have a pitcher with them today by the name of Michael Piazza, who is the cousin of Michael Piazza, the one you know about.
We might see him in the game at some point today. Speaking of Efren Navarro, 50th round pick. Piazza, what, 62nd?
Yeah, 60 something.
Yeah. Romine into shallow left. It'll be caught by Hairston. And that'll end the inning. They add a couple. It's 3-0.
Is presented by authority of the Chicago Cubs and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the express written consent of the Chicago Cubs.
Here is our BMW in-game box score. Be prepared for inclement weather this season with a BMW 3 Series with X-Drive all-wheel drive technology. Visit your local Chicagoland or Northwest Indiana BMW Center today to test drive one. Not much happening so far for the Cubs offense. First time around against Joe Blanton. Scott Cousins with a 2-run double to make it 3-0. Cubs only hit by their pitcher, Edwin Jackson. Low for a ball on Castro. Comebacker, base hit.
Fastball down a little bit, outer third, and Castro does exactly what you're supposed to do with a pitch like that. Just wraps it right back through the middle of the diamond.
A little high on Anthony Rizzo.
If you were a bookmaker and you were going to set an over-under number on hits for Castro this year, you'd probably set it somewhere close to 200.
Just off the plate. And Starlin also told me last year he wanted to steal 35 bags. He ended up with 25. He got caught 13 times, a little bit too much. Swing and a miss on a changeup.
Good let up there by Blanton. That's a nice weapon for him against lefties at a fastball count. Nothing wrong with taking a big swing here. Nothing wrong with taking a chance, trying to jump out in front of a heater. If you get fooled, so what? It's only strike one. Especially if you're a slugger like Rizzo. Change up again. Fooled him twice. This old guy with a good reputation of not fooling easily. Both times out in front of the changeup from Blanton, who really sells it. Look at the hand speed. Comes out of his hand looking just like his fastball. Again, Rizzo way out in front. He's thinking line drive to left center with his approach now. Again, the off-speed pitch. Check out the AT Legends Suite on the Nuveen Investment Suites level. Watch the game with a former Cubs player and listen to classic stories about life as a Cub with a luxury food and beverage package and a unique gift for each guest. The AT Legends Suite is the most exclusive way to watch a Cubs game. For more information, visit Cubs.com/suites. If you're lucky, you might get up there with Hector Villanueva.
Scott Hairston.
So you're talking about Castro's stolen base percentage. So I think sometimes, maybe it's, younger players, maybe not, but potential base stealers, I think the mistake they make sometimes is this end of it here, just a little too conservative with their lead. It's, some guys view it as taboo to get picked off at first base. I think it's almost okay every now and then for a base stealer to get picked off, because what's the difference if you get picked off here or thrown out there when you're trying to steal?
Outs and out. Right?
Yeah, so I think, sometimes it's just a little too conservative with the lead, or maybe not as aggressive as need be with the jump.
Scott hitting a couple of foul balls here in this at bat. Really, I think reminds some Cub fans, reminds me of his brother Jerry. He can get pull happy at times. Certainly did when he was with the Cubs. I got to tell you, Jerry has become a very valuable super utility guy now with the Dodgers. A real valuable part of a winning ball club. It's caught by Romine, the shortstop.
It's an interesting deal they have going over there in Los Angeles earlier this spring. At times last year, they had like 7 sons of former major leaguers on their roster.
Gwynn, Sellers, Hairston,
Gordon, Flash Gordon's son. I think they had Tim Wallach's son, at least in spring training and camp for a while.
Two outs. Castro led off the inning with a base hit. He's still at first.
Holtz, limited at bats, has had a lot of success against Joe Blanton. So if you're thinking about stealing a bag, this would be the time to get a little more aggressive. And he is baffling the Cub hitters right now with that let-up. 5 out of 7 with a couple of home runs for Holtz against Joe Blanton.
Back. Not sure if we've seen 50% fastballs from Blanton so far in this outing. He's used that changeup and his breaking ball a lot.
Yeah, that's not unusual. He really has got the the complete mix of pitches, and it relies heavily on the off-speed stuff. Whoop.
Well, unfortunately, your prediction almost came true.
Yeah, and I'm not so sure that was because he was trying to get a jump as opposed to just being caught a little flat-footed there by Blanton, who's got very quick feet. Normally, you don't think of no balls, 2 strikes, or 1 ball, 2 strikes as running counts, but sometimes a manager will want his guy to gamble in that situation, thinking, well, even if he gets thrown out, then I get a fresh start from my hitter next inning. If he likes the fact, and again, spring training is a different thing than the regular season, but Scherholt's a guy who's had success against Blanton, so he said, let's get Scherholtz at bat with a fresh count next inning. If we get thrown out here, if Castro's able to steal the bag and the count's still alive, then Scherholtz has a chance to drive him in. Down in the count, less likely to deliver the extra base hit than a single because you're a little bit more defensive in the box.
Here he goes. Fly ball to right. And that'll end the threat. Calhoun with a catch. Still 3-0 Angels. We have an upcoming TV schedule brought to you by Ford, and we're already looking at the regular season. The time has arrived, April 1st on WGN Sports, opening day from Pittsburgh. Ford, go further in any one of Ford's many fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. As the Cubs will open up their 138th National League season. We've been looking around for that one Cub fan who's seen all 138 seasons. We have not yet located him or her. And if we do find that person, that'd be some sort of record.
Thing. Jeff Samardzija, A.J. Burnett. Hook up in that opener.
And Samardzija's last outing in the regular campaign was a complete game win at Pittsburgh last year. Remember, A.J. Burnett took a no-hitter into the 8th at Wrigley Field in the second half of last season, so that should be a good matchup. Talking about Blanton and throwing his fastball less than 50% of the time. If you look at his career arc, just look at the list on Fangraphs. You know, he used to throw his fastball upwards of 6 out of 10 pitches, and almost every year that ball is foul. As time has gone on, that percentage has gone down. And I'd have to look for the Josh Beckett's and A.J. Burnett's, but Brett Myers would probably fit into that category. These kids come up and they throw their fastball a lot, and then as they get a little older,
Myers,
they start to pitch.
A ton of breaking balls.
Feathered into center, late break by DeJesus, and he won't get there in time. That's a base hit.
And having a nice day at the plate, a sacrifice. First time up, and now a little soft single into shallow center field. DeJesus coming hard, but not able to get there in time.
Now, as you look at your 12-year Major League career, do you feel like, as you recall it, that you've fundamentally changed in terms of how you used all of your pitches from mid-'80s to the mid-'90s?
Yeah, I think, you know, many guys come into the league leaning heavily on the fastball, and then they learn, you know, to get a little better feel for the breaking ball, the changeup. Of course, a lot of it is dictated by the hitters you face and how well you maintain your stuff. You know, if you come to the big leagues and you're throwing 94 miles an hour, and 8-10 years later you're still throwing 94 miles an hour, you continue to ride that pitch, but as you start to lose velocity, you've got to come up with, you know, a plan B, and whether that's more breaking balls or trying to create some movement that maybe you didn't have initially. That's what you have to do to survive, and the guys that are able to make those adjustments are the ones that play the game for a good long while. And you know, the best example may be Jamie Moyer. When Jamie learned to cut his fastball to complement that changeup and a little sinker down and away, that was a big turning point for him, and he made about $50 million after that. It looked like he was out of the game.
On the ground, Barney will throw out at first. Rizzo, nice play to locate the bag with his foot. The Gold Glover, Darwin Barney.
I mentioned earlier how good the Cubs have been defensively this spring. On that infield, only Rizzo with one error, the only guy among the four playing today who's committed an error. And this is a sparkling play by Barney. Good footwork by Rizzo to go up and then come back down and get that back corner of the bag. Or appear to anyway. Yeah.
Switch hitting Luis Rodriguez takes a strike.
It's tough play for a first baseman. When you've made a play on the ball, then you have to retreat back to the bag, twisting the other way to catch a throw. Still trying to find the bag. A whole lot going on there.
Well, I mentioned it off the top. The Cubs and Angels will play each other twice in Anaheim and twice at Wrigley Field. A 4-game season series. So the Cubs will head to the Big A for the first time in 9 seasons. We've got quite a road trip to Anaheim. Home on Sunday, off day Monday, 2 games in Anaheim, back home Thursday. You could probably pack in a plastic grocery bag if you'd like. A couple pairs of socks. Yeah. That's really it. That's all you need. Right?
Toothbrush and go.
Yeah.
You don't even need that, bud. You can just go out there and do a little shopping. Just whatever you need. Just pick it up the day before.
Because as we like to say, if you're going to travel to California, you might as well only play 2 games. Sherholtz circling. An awkward looking catch. It's the second out.
Maybe some topspin on that ball off the bat of Rodriguez, fooling Sherholtz a little bit. Again, problematic with the sky. All's well that ends well. It's not the way you draw it up, though. He's a good outfielder, very good outfielder.
Same way, KJ. KJ.
product of Arizona State. And the Angels minor league player of the year 2 years ago. Takes ball one low. Angels won 89 games last year, but that was only good enough for third place in their division. And they have not been in the playoffs the last 3 years after winning 3 straight division titles.
There's a scenario where both wildcard teams could come out of the AL West with the Astros joining that division, and the Astros really in the infancy of their rebuilding program. Most people think that they're going to lose 100 games again. So some of those teams at the top of this division have a chance to really get fat.
And the A's, I guess, are a little hard to figure out, as are the Orioles, just because they both surprised so many people last year. Can they both sustain it?
Yeah, the Orioles, I believe, have the best record ever in one-run games, and there's a lot of luck that goes into that. 29-9 the Orioles were last year in one-run games.
(16-2) in extra innings. Remarkable.
Yeah, and that's the one where everybody, surrounding the Orioles is going to talk about intangibles and great character, and we never give up. And a lot of it is that's just luck.
It's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Well, they do have a good manager.
Very good. Got some good players. They got to look like Wilford Brimley.
Junior Samples and Wilford Brimley. Hairston has it go off his glove, and Blanton will score, and it's 4-0.
It looked like Hairston was in position to make a play on that ball. Calhoun put a pretty good charge in it. Scott appeared to be there, and maybe just overplayed it a little bit, had to twist back the other way.
Giving Calhoun a double.
Little slice spin off the bat of the left-handed hitter.
Ball one to Iannetta. Swing and a miss, 1-1. Going into this start, Jackson had allowed 4 runs all spring. Regular. 1-2.
Got off to a great start. Retired the first 6 men he faced today. He got a little lazy with a couple breaking balls. Made a couple mistakes out over the plate with his fastball. For the most part, he's throwing the ball well. One of the things that's really not in the arsenal of a pitcher in spring training is intimidation. You don't see guys knocking people off the plate with high inside fastballs very often.
Picks up his second strikeout and first since the opening inning. Now 4.
Wrigleyville Rooftops has premier seating for up to 200 guests for corporate gatherings, family reunions, and bachelor or bachelorette parties. Individual and group tickets are available for all games. For more details, go to WrigleyvilleRooftops.com or call 773-248-ROOF. Load up a bus full, bring them to the ballpark.
Cubs trying to get it going here against Joe Blanton, who's been really good. Navarro bounces to the shortstop, Romine. Luis Valbuena will hit. Get your sugar on a stick. Breaking ball is high.
Bland's a real good fit for this Angels club. This is a guy who's earned a reputation over the years of being an innings eater, a guy that'll stay in and compete. And with that lineup, that's kind of what you're looking for. You don't need necessarily a guy who's going to go out there and pitch at a 2.5 ERA to be successful.
One will not carry. Calhoun with the catch.
Those kinds of guys cost a lot of money. A guy like Bland, you know, you can get him a little discount, and he's still going to keep you in a lot of games. That lineup should provide him plenty of opportunities to win. I don't know about their bullpen, though. The suspect.
Well, I think the big question for them is Ryan Madsen will start the season on the DL. Dealing with elbow tightness. Missed all of last year after Tommy John. They do have Ernesto Frieri.
I believe we'll see him today.
I believe he'll start the year as the closer. You know, they're the top of that bullpen, on the back end, as you would say. There's a ball into the corner and left. And Barney with a 2-out double. Cubs have a runner in scoring position for the first time. Now, when Madsen's healthy, and Frieri and Burnett, Sean Burnett, the lefty, Kevin Jepson, Scott Downs, I mean, they've got some guys with experience.
They moved Jerome Williams to the bullpen as well. Hanging breaking ball, and Barney jumps all over it. Jackson could handle the bat a little bit.
As we get to know Edwin Jackson, he was drafted as an outfielder, converted to pitcher by the Dodgers. A flare to center and a base hit. And the Cubs get on the board as Barney scores, and Edwin Jackson is 2 for 2. Well, Blanton with a single, a run, a sac bunt, and Jackson with 2 hits.
See a spirited competition heating up between Samardzija and Jackson this year. See who's going to get the most knocks. That's nice when you can get a run like that, 2 outs. Nobody out at the bottom of the order. Hold man hits a double. Pitcher drives him in with a knock. That's unexpected production.
So 4-1. And DeJesus 0 for 2, but came in with a 10-game hitting streak. Whenever I see this note, I cringe. And this is one where the disclaimer is we're just the messenger. But he has not struck out in his last 38 consecutive plate appearances.
He's the modern-day Joe Sewell. He once struck out 4 times in a season, I believe. Check me on it if you like.
In a season?
Something like that. I don't make everything up. Check the Google machine.
And DeJesus hasn't struck out in 39 straight plate appearances and has an 11-gamer. 3 straight 2-out hits.
Yeah, actually, struck out 114 times in a 14-year Major League career. Joe Sewell actually struck out only 3 times. In 1932, he had 576 plate appearances.
So in 14 years, he struck out in double digits 4 times.
Yeah. Played from 1920 to 1933 with Cleveland and then the Yankees. The Hall of Famer. 5'6", $155. Different game back then, you know. Choke up, slap the ball around. Hit the occasional.
Cubs getting to Blanton for the first time. I haven't even mentioned the spring records. The Cubs are 14 and 50, and we've been talking about the Angels, who will be picked by many to, if not be in the mix, maybe win the American League West. They're 6, 15 and 4, but nobody really cares.
No, there's really no correlation between spring training performance and regular season, at least in terms of the standings.
Kansas City and Seattle, the 2 best teams in the Cactus League. Royals are 19 and 6. The Mariners are 18 and 8. Angels have the worst record in baseball. That'll all get erased in about a week. Swing and a miss on a pretty hittable pitch. 1-2. Starlin's got a birthday coming up tomorrow. He'll turn 23. To center, and Shuck will end the inning. 3 hits and a run. It's now 4-1.
More
Season starts on April 1st. The home schedule begins April 8th at Wrigley Field. And for single game tickets, go to Cubs.com now. We look forward to seeing you inside the friendly confines here in 2013. Darwin Barney with a game-winning home run yesterday. And a two-out double to start a rally in the 5th today. He would score on Edwin Jackson's single. Cubs still trail by 3.
You see the line on Edwin Jackson. 78 pitches so far, 28 balls, 50 strikes. Guessing this will be his last inning of work here this afternoon.
We're seeing some action out on the Cubs bullpen.
This one and then one more before his first start of the regular season. A lot of times this is the one where guys like to push it, extend it in this outing, try to get up to 90, 100 pitches, and then maybe back off a little bit in that final spring training start.
Veteran lefty Hisanori Takahashi with what could be an important outing for him as he tries to grab that last bullpen spot. Bounced foul by Brendan Harris, 5th round pick of the Cubs in 2001. Cub fans remember the huge 4-team trade deadline deal in 2004. Harris went to the Expos. His name was not prominently mentioned in that deal, but Nomar's was, as he came from Boston. DeJesus chasing after it. That will one-hop the wall. It's a double for Harris.
Just got up in that wind and continued to ride. Turn the wall out there in right center field.
We had a shot of Hisanori Takahashi, who is a non-roster invitee, as we continue our spring training glossary. What does that mean, Len? Well, it's a player who's invited to spring camp. He does not appear on their roster at that time, so he is not on the 40-man roster. If he makes the club, the Cubs would have to make a corresponding move to make room for him, and he is coming into the game. It's 4-1. Hisanori Takahashi, 4 guys battling for a final bullpen spot. He's the only lefty in that group.
And therein lies his advantage as Dale Swain tries to put his club together before heading north. Takahashi, a veteran, one-time Japanese league standout, and then big league time with the Mets. Angels. Did some starting with the Mets when he first came to the big leagues in 2010. Fastball, a little notch below average, sitting around 88 miles an hour, but he has a cutter, curve, slider, and a changeup. Also with the Pirates a little bit last season.
Castro getting in behind the runner.
This is what we were talking a little bit about the other day. As you get into these final days of spring training, you start to play the games more like the regular season. So an opportunity now for Dale to make a mid-inning pitching change, to bring his lefty out of the bullpen with some left-handed hitters scheduled for the Angels. With Takahashi in a situation where he would want to use him in the regular season. See how he does.
One missed, 2-0. Caught by DeJesus. One away. And it's Efren Navarro, who's 1 for 2. And getting back to the fact the Angels have a split squad. You're not facing many regulars in their lineup, but in terms of what you talk about, using your bullpen the way you might in the regular season, who's on the opposition really is irrelevant.
Yeah,
just do your thing.
Tough. Yeah, you want to see how a guy how he executes his game plan out there, where if he locates his pitches. Obviously, the chance that Josh Hamilton would have put a better swing on that 2-heater than Scott Cousins just did, but that's the challenge in evaluating in spring training too. That's why sometimes you can be fooled. The guys can have unbelievable springs, but who are they up against? So a lot of times you're just looking at the process. What pitches does he locate? How does he respond to the situation?
Don't want to assume everybody knows what split squad means. You won't hear that term in the regular season.
No, unless there's a lot of tension in the clubhouse. Then you've got a split squad, and then the manager's got some work to do. But in spring training, it's when you play 2 games in the same day, and that gives the club a chance to look at a lot of different players.
And I think there's basically a split squad day almost every day here because there are 15 teams in Arizona. The Angels had a split squad the first day of spring training. Mike Scioscia was not thrilled about that.
Yeah, otherwise you'd be forced to have more off days and play inter-squad games. Can't really sell tickets to those.
Could you imagine if we did that in the regular season? Cubs are home tomorrow and in San Diego.
I like it. I think you got something there, Len. You really test the depth of your organization.
You went around 2-2.
Breaking ball from Takahashi. Was able to fool Navarro. Clearly went far enough, or too far from his point of view.
There it is. He's run it full, 3-2.
I think the one thing a lot of left-handed pitchers don't utilize enough, the tendency is to think you're going to try to lock up left-handed hitters with breaking balls. Sometimes you see guys drop their arm angle a little bit to try to freeze the left-handed hitter. Gary Crowley, longtime major leaguer, very good hitting coach for a number of years, the Twins and the Orioles. As a left-handed hitter, he told me the toughest pitch for him to handle was just a good down-and-away fastball from the left-handed hitter. Sometimes that slow breaking ball that moves across the plate, it's easier for a lefty to kind of sit in there and stay on it.
We mention that fastball from a righty to a righty all the time, but maybe not as much on the other side. It's a nice swing by Navarro, and it's going to result in a run. Weighted back, poked that into left, and it's now 5-1 Angels.
It's not an easy pitch to execute. To drive that ball all the way down to the other side of the plate, down and away. Most pitchers have better command to the arm side than they do their glove side. When breaking balls, the one way they can kind of get the ball to the outside part of the plate. And that's why I think the cutter has become so valuable. Guys can not only bust opposite-handed hitters in with it, they can also throw it away to a same side hitter, lefty on lefty, righty on right. I have vivid memories from back in my day trying to throw that breaking ball to the likes of Mark Grace, Keith Hernandez, those good left-handed Tony Gwynn, and they just ping it right back up the middle on you.
Did anybody get Tony Gwynn out?
Not with any regularity.
Somebody did. I mean, he didn't hit 600. Hit 390.
Yeah.
Somebody got him out.
You might have gotten him out, but you didn't fool him very often. Usually when you got him out, he still hit the ball fairly hard, put it in play, just happened to be where somebody could make a play on it. Yeah, it got to the point where I talked to some pitchers, and I said, what do you do with Gwynn? And I just throw it down the middle. Let him put it in play early. Why expend all the energy trying to trick him and fool him with this, that, going deep, and then let him hit a line drive? You're going to hit a line drive anyway. Just let's get it over with early and move on.
Pick your battles. Romine retired 4-3. Navarro now at third, 2 outs. And it'll be Blanton, who's 1 for 1 with a sac bunt. Joe Blanton's home run for the Phillies 2008 came in game 4, 10-2 win over Tampa Bay. It was the 3rd hit of his career, and he was the first pitcher to hit a home run in a World Series game since then former Cub Ken Holtzman did it with Oakland in 1974. Wow. Swing and a miss.
I think that changeup is probably Takahashi's best pitch.
He's going to throw another one here to Blanton. And that'll end the inning. They do add a run. It's 5-1 in the 6th.
power strips than at Best Buy. So we've got these new cameras for the booth, and they require about 8 outlets. So, yeah.
Also, we can give you a close-up of our nostrils. Hope you're enjoying that.
Mark, is your house on fire? No, Aunt Bethany. Those are the Christmas lights.
With the cat in the box in the package.
The little lights are twinkling, Clark.
Ruby Sue? Is that the little girl's name? Didn't say.
Call strike on Rizzo. 5-1 Angels.
Thanks, guys.
Now Rizzo's third look at Blanton. Adjustment made.
Well, the last time around was not so good. This one worked out.
Yeah, maybe off the end of the bat. Might have been out in front a little bit, but stayed back long enough. It's a breaking ball. Backdoor breaker. That guy's a hero. He gets a knock, and he's 1 out of 3 now.
No, we can ask Anthony. It's spring training, but I have to figure that last at bat he's been thinking about for the last half hour.
Yeah. I think, hitters, more than anything, especially high average guys who are known to have a good approach, when they get fooled like that, more than once in an at-bat. One time, yeah, but more than once in an at-bat.
Fair ball. We're going to get an out. Good thing Hairston ran at first. Scott wasn't going to run. That ball hit the chalk line, it appeared. Ended up fair, and they get Rizzo at second. Scott does not get a hit out of it.
Rizzo may have been fooled by the fielders. He may have assumed foul ball based on where the runners were going, because otherwise you probably should have been able to make it into second base here, because if you see that ball has a chance of being fair, you can go far enough down between first and second where you're really not in jeopardy being doubled off, because that's a fairly long throw back across. So he should have been able to get far enough between first and second where he could get to second base there on that ball, but he may have gotten caught just reading the infielders, especially Harris, who thought it was going to be like 3 rows deep the way he was going.
So Hairston takes over at first with 1 out. That's just your typical 6'4" fielder's choice. And a strike.
That's the one in the regular season where the hitter looks at the guy and says, "Come on, dude, you're costing me a knock here."
Angels a double play depth. Kick and the pitch. That's going to go for a bit. Maybe to the wall. It'll send Hairston around third. And it's a double for Nate Sherholtz, 5-2. 8th RBI of the spring for Nate.
Came into this game hitting just a little below 300 for Cactus League play. Stays inside that breaking ball from Blanton. Real nice swing there by Sherholtz. We pointed out earlier that he has good numbers against Blanton in his career. He delivers a run-scoring double there. Nice stroke.
The starting pitcher's out of there, but Deanna Navarro catching Edwin Jackson. He caught him in Tampa Bay. Another added advantage to bringing in the veteran Navarro, having caught Garza and Jackson. Left fielder Cousins will make the catch.
It's time to play ball. Get to Wrigley Field this season to see the Cubs in action. Single game tickets are available. You can purchase your tickets by calling 1-800-THE-CUBS, stopping by the Wrigley Field box office, or as always, the internet, Cubs.com. A lot of different ways to get your tickets. Come out and see the Cubs at Wrigley.
You know, I was thinking this looks like the biggest crowd of the spring, and it is. It's a sellout, 13,012 at the old ballpark. Spring break is starting for a lot of schools back in Chicago. Great time to be out here. Strike on Valbuena. It's always funny when I get on the plane to head out here, and no matter what flight it is, coming from Chicago to Arizona in the winter or the spring, I always wait for that moment when you hear one of the flight attendants say, "This flight is full." And when they talk about where you put your bags and everything. Like, of course, we're going from Chicago to Arizona in March.
Chicago West. And I bet you everybody's in a good mood when they board that plane.
Yes, they are. We hope you can come out. If you didn't make it here this year, next year when the Cubs move into their brand new spring training home, not too far from here, still in Mesa. And we showed you some of the renderings. There will be a lot of Wrigley Field touches. Swing and a miss. Strike three to end the inning. Cubs get one. They're down 5-2 as we head to the seventh.
Tonight.
Budweiser play the game. Budweiser, great times are waiting. Grab some buds. John Knight and his fiance spent 8 hours putting that Cubs logo into the center field grass. And each morning, as you just saw, the grounds crew spends 45 minutes with a broom brushing it up. There's Brent Lillibridge now in for Barney at second. Alberto Gonzalez is playing short, and there's Steve Clevenger behind the plate.
Shallow right. And a base hit. Shuck. Out at second.
Fine line sometimes between aggressive and reckless on the bases, and Chuck very aggressive there. A little bloop single trying to turn it into a double. He's getting high fives from the boys in the dugout. I'm a bit surprised to see him take that aggressive turn and head to second base.
About 2 pitches, 2 outs. That works.
The way we like it. Shucks. An out.
Caleb Cowart, pinch hitter. Now he is the Angels' #1 prospect according to Baseball America's switch hitting infielder. Caleb Cowart. How about Caleb Cowart hitting for Cole Calhoun?
Yeah, how about that? And how about taking over the mantle as the top prospect in the Angels organization behind Mike Trout? It's tough to measure up to that.
Two balls and a strike. Well, the Angels have had Tim Salmon and Mike Trout.
Ooh, I see the beginnings of an all-fish team. Get Kevin Bass on there.
Catfish hunter. We could come up with a pretty good one.
Together.
Ralph Seaweed. Didn't he play for the Cubs?
Ralph Seaweed?
I just made it up. But
Pike. There had to have been a Pike, right? Ryan Karp.
Ralph Garr.
Tanner Fisher.
Yeah. Randy Perch. Oh, that was Lurch. Is that the cotton candy?
I think it is.
Three and two on Cowart. Swing and a miss on the changeup to end the inning. Stretch time in Mesa. Still 5-2. Mesa, Arizona. Jimmy Eat World with the middle. That's Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. 5-2, the Angels lead. Joe Blanton is still working in the 7th. Working ball strike on Brent Lillibridge. Bounced foul. I don't know how much Lillibridge will hit, but the way I look at his contributions to this club, whatever he does hit, he's had a good spring, is really gravy. But he brings his defensive versatility to the point where I would claim he's average or above average at just about every position he plays. He can play all 4 spots in the infield and all 3 outfield spots. And White Sox fans remember a lot of big catches he made for their club.
Yeah, so so not just a fill-in, but actually in some instances an upgrade defensively, depending on where you put him. A guy who can play all over the place. He's got a little pop in his bat. So, he come off the bench and maybe juice one for you. Had a rough year last year. Never really hit for much of an average in the big leagues. The White Sox in 2011, he had 258 with 13 home runs and 186 at-bats.
Pretty efficient day for Blanton to this point. Tough pitch to lay off, but it did stay inside. 2-2.
Blanton has struck out 5. He has not walked a batter in this game.
Get in there, and extra bases for Lillibridge. David Bell telling him come on to third, and he'll get there without a throw. It's a triple. So he's now hitting .500 on the spring. Good job by Lillibridge at one point to pick up his third base coach. And David Bell was wildly waving him to round second, head for 3.
Yeah, so many times you see base runners peeking over their shoulder between first and second. And Kakashia's step, just go ahead and rely on your third base coach to be your traffic cop. But just a good at-bat there. Talked to Theo last weekend, and obviously this is, the game plan with the Cub hitters. Be patient, work your way into good counts, and then hit the ball hard. And that's exactly what Lillibridge did.
That will end the day for Joe Blanton, who is very good. He'll give Lillibridge a couple of minutes to catch his breath. So we'll have a new battery for the Angels. The new catcher will be Chris Snyder. And we'll tell you who the new pitcher is when we come back in the 7th. Left-hander Nick Mirande on for the Angels. Runner at third. Nobody out in the seventh. Mirande was their minor league pitcher of the year last year. 33 days of big league service.
Yeah, late season in which he worked at rookie ball, single A, double A, and ultimately the big leagues. Hard throwing left-hander.
He's 3-0 on Dave Sapelt in a pinch hitting spot. So we saw Caleb Cowart, who's now in the game, their #1 prospect. Mirande, according to Baseball America, is #2. So we've now seen their top 2 guys in the Angels system.
Should get a fastball to hack at here. Well, with man on third base, nobody out. Last year the Cubs got that run home 82% of the time. So there's certain situations in a game. Lead off double, you feel like you should get that run home. Man on third, nobody out. Obviously you feel like you should get that run home. And first and third, the number goes up a little bit.
Cornermen are in, but they're going to play for a double play chance up the middle. Brendan Harris now has moved to second. Strike on DeJesus. Singled in the 5th.
Tough at bat here. Young, hard throwing kid that you've never seen before, don't know much about. Not sure what kind of command he has. You don't want to get drilled in the ribs. You just want to hang in there and have a tough AB. So his long run of not punching out is in jeopardy here all of a sudden.
6'3", 205 pounds, Nick Mirande from Lexington, Kentucky. Up the middle and through. Lillibridge in. Throw to third. Gets away. DeJesus moves up. On the regular season, pretty big play to get DeJesus into scoring position. He's the tying run with nobody out.
That's just a clinic right there. Down to the count, no balls, 2 strikes against a tough lefty. Just shortening the stroke, putting the ball in play, and that's a good result. Strong throw there from Chuck, just a little bit tardy. With the base hit, the Cubs tie the ball game. Great at bat.
Alberto Gonzalez. This is his first at bat since he came in for Castro.
Ground ball to second base would be fine here. You get 1 home, you get DeJesus to third.
Alberto was doing that on his own, a late show of a bunt, and he hit it foul.
Yeah, well, I think he had that in mind. He just wanted to push that bunt to the right side. Allow Sapelt to kind of read it from third base, whether they have a chance to score on it or not. It's a tough read for the man on third base because you have to make sure it gets by the pitcher.
Out in the left center, and the Cubs are going to tie it. 2 runs in, and Gonzalez on his way to third. Out. Good relay throw. He knocks in 2. That's the first out of the inning. It's 5-5.
on a double.
And another big swing of the bat with no balls and 2 strikes. As the young lefty makes a mistake and Gonzalez makes him pay. Hanging backdoor slider. Kind of falls into what we were talking about earlier when Shuck tried to go from first to second on that ball in front of Scherholz. An aggressive play, but not really a smart play there by Gonzalez with nobody out in the inning. They're already in scoring position.
Gonzalez with a week to go, still in that mix, along with Steve Clevenger for a spot on the bench. It's 1-1 on Rizzo. So 3 runs here in the 7th to tie it up.
So, you know, that's a play that in the regular season obviously is going to get everybody's attention and that coaching staff. And I guarantee it'll be talked about today, too, from Dale or one of his coaches at some point. Maybe not right now, right after the play. But at some point, a reminder to Gonzalez, you know what? A real good idea to try to get to third base there with nobody out.
Hard on the ground, but right at Romine. And with 2 outs, it'll be Scott Hairston. Each team now 5 runs on 10 hits.
1 out. I have no problem with that play. Try to get there in a situation where you can score on a sac fly. And nobody out in the inning, you still feel very comfortable. A man on second, nobody out, especially with the heart of your order coming up. You should be able to find a way to get that run home. It's all about risk versus reward. Look at David Bell make a play.
You can still pick it at third. No, the risk versus reward part of it is totally right on. It's a big deal for this coaching staff. Look at that.
And he acts like he's been there before.
That is clubbed to deep left. If it's fair, it's way gone, and it is. And the Cubs have their first lead today. It's 6-5.
13,000 plus on their feet. Jerry Scott Hairston, and this is what he gets paid to do. Turn around hard-throwing lefties. 20 bombs last year for the Mets, inflicted a lot of damage against southpaws. The cut fastball moving right into his power. He cleared the berm. The slope. The knoll.
The shoulder.
The shoulder.
Rob Deere saying, I used to hit some that went that far.
Son, you may feels good at that one, but I got you by about 50 feet yet.
So Morande's really been knocked around here in this 7th inning. Cubs have put up 4 runs. 1 charge to Blanton. Cubs have a chance to finish atop the Major League leaderboard in home runs in spring training, chasing the Mariners right now, trailing them by 3. It's their 44th of the spring. Well, if this were the regular season, Joe Blanton might not be too happy, but I'm sure he's just thinking about his outing. And as we said, he was pretty good. Third homer of the spring officially for Hairston, although he hit a 4th in a game that was rained out. One and two to Sherholtz. Popped him up, shallow left. Matt Young now into the game, makes a grab to end the inning. 4 big ones for the Cubs, capped by this home run. Scott Hairston makes it 6-5. Scott Hairston with a long home run. Give the Cubs a 6-5 lead. The closer is on. Today it comes in the 8th inning. It's Carlos Marmol.
Having a nice spring with a 2.08 ERA. He has walked 5 in his 8 2/3 innings, struck out 4. Much better the second half of last year than he was prior to the All-Star break. For what it's worth, Takahashi in position now to be the winning pitcher. I don't think they're overly concerned about that out there. They're overly concerned about anything out there.
No worries. There's Chris Snyder, recently brought into Angels camp. A minor league deal.
Had been in camp with the Washington Nationals. Not going to make that ball club. He's granted his release, signed on with the Angels. Been around the big leagues for a number of years. The Diamondbacks, the Pirates. Last year was an Astro.
3 balls, no strikes.
He's a very dangerous hitter. Patient hitter, I should say, with power. Dangerous in these counts. Put him in a triple fastball count. That's when he's able to inflict some damage.
And there's ball 4.
Some Subscribe to MLB.TV Premium today and watch over 150 select spring training games live, plus every regular season game live or on demand on over 250 mobile and connected devices. Visit Cubs.com for details.
Harris began the game at third. He's now at second.
Whoop.
Look out. The only fortunate thing for Harris is it looked like a slider. No one really got away from Marmol. Got him in the arm. Fortunately, not the helmet.
Yeah, intended to be a slider, and it just squirts out of the hand of Marmol. And just almost impossible to get out of the way of that pitch.
Pinch runner. It's of course not on my list, but
number 73, Len.
Yeah, still not on my list.
Jethro Pugh? No, I think he was 75.
And it fouled by Cousins. All right.
Early work today before batting practice, the Cubs were working on these very plays. Bunt situations, first and third, first and second, bunt defense.
Go.
I believe it's Sherman Johnson. And he's the pinch runner. 1-2. Cousins didn't like that call.
Showing bunt, but then he pulled the bat back. If you're up there in a sacrifice situation and you already have one strike on you, you got to go ahead and be aggressive. It's kind of counterintuitive to say aggressive as a bunter, but see, so many times guys take pitches they should be offering out when they're asked to bunt. I almost get the sense that they want to get into a deeper count, so the manager takes the bunt off and they're free to swing.
We've seen Marmol get into many jams and get out of some. How about a double play? That's a good play by Alberto Gonzalez. Just to make sure you get that one out. It was going to be an almost impossible turn. But the double play is still in order. First and third now.
A 3-6-1 double play. Difficult to complete. It's 2 long throws. Rizzo gets rid of it in a hurry, but he throws a little bit of a sinker there to Gonzalez. Yeah, that's the big mistake in that play is if Gonzalez tries to do too much with that ball, gets in a big hurry and then mishandles it there, and you end up with nothing.
Navarro is 2 out of 3.
That's yeah, well, there's 2 73s on this club.
Sherman Johnson, I believe, was announced. So Cousins will steal second.
The other one is Jordani Reynoso.
Yeah, we were just
a pitcher, so we're going to go with Sherman Johnson.
We were just handed the Angels spring training minor league roster. We got that tweet yesterday. That's the difference between spring training and the regular season. They have 3 number 62s, 3 number 63s. Rizzo will fire home, and they'll get him. Clevenger blocking the plate. 2 down. So Snyder's out. And Marmol's got a chance to get out of it.
Usually it's with the punch out where Marmol works his way out of trouble. This time it's a couple of ground balls, both handled well by Rizzo. Just to have a big slugger down there at first base that could also flash some leather.
running at first base for the Angels, Andy Workman. Now play number 7, Edwin Jackson.
It's not a play a first baseman is called upon to make that often, and a lot of times you see guys hurry that throw, get anxious, end up spiking it, putting a lot of pressure on the catcher. That was just really well done by Rizzo.
Ball one on Andrew Romine, 0 for 3. Get by Clevenger, and the Angels will tie it. So Cousins scores, and it's 6-6.
Good downward action on that slider. Clevenger just a little late getting over there with the glove to corral it. That should be a pass ball.
Shank foul. 1-2. Andy Workman pinch running. He's at second. I don't know why they don't do what some teams in the WBC did. Why can't you wear number 126? Wouldn't you rather have that than three number 96s?
Yeah. There must be some level of indignity that's associated with going to triple digits. You know, like a guy can feel good about the fact that he's wearing number 99 in spring training, but if he's 102, then, well, he's just going to quit.
Full count. Here's a 3-2. Ball 4.
Carlos felt like he had a punch out on the earlier backdoor slider called up, but a couple pitches in this inning where I think he feels like he's been squeezed a little bit.
I just got a very angry text from Tom Otis Hellman, Cubs clubhouse manager. Way too much sewing.
Yeah, there is that. Yeah. Stopped in to see Otis and Gary today. I hadn't seen them yet.
Gary Stark.
Back when I was playing, they had the visiting clubhouse. Otis had the best egg salad in the league.
Oh, yeah. Jonathan Veramis, Rich Rupp, the whole gang. Called strike. 0-2 the count.
Show up and Otis would have the board. Welcome, Houston Astros, my favorite team. And as soon as you were out the door at the end of the series, you know he was erasing that. And welcome, Pittsburgh Pirates, my favorite team.
Broken bat roller. Gobbled up by Gonzalez to end the inning. Angels tie it, however, on a pass ball. It's 6-6.
The patient presented with
second largest crowd of the spring, over 13,000. Here in Mesa, 6-6 is our score as the Cubs will bat in the bottom of the 8th. And Ernesto Frieri, who will probably be their closer to start the year with Ryan Madsen out, has had a terrific career as a short reliever with the Padres and now the Angels. A really good pickup for the Angels last season. Came over in the Alexi Amarista deal in early May. Why is it that the Padres just, whenever they trade a short reliever who's really good, another one just steps in?
And I guess that's why they were able to trade him. Because he's got a great arm. He throws 94, 95 miles an hour, leans heavily on that pitch. He'll throw it about 90% of the time. I just really like Amarista to have given up Frieri to get him.
So he comes set. And the leg kick.
The funky little arm action, too. Not something you would really teach, the way he kind of stabs it behind him. Might create some deception, though, for the hitter.
Yeah, seems to hide it well. 2-2.
It's a big part of it, boy. You know, there's some guys, you see their stuff and you watch it on TV, and this guy's got electric stuff. They shouldn't be able to hit him. But for whatever reason, hitters pick the ball up off that particular guy, and it's no mystery. Other guys maybe don't throw that hard, but they hide the ball, and hitters tend to get a late start. And then you got guys like Frieri, who's a little both, has a plus arm, plus is deceptive. That was the case with Billy Wagner back in the day. I remember a scout telling me, I got to fill out an advanced report for my hitters that this guy throws 100, plus he's sneaky.
Pretty lethal. And Steve Clevenger with another good at bat. That's why he's got a very good shot to make this club. So that's a leadoff double for Clevenger. And we will get a pinch runner for him.
Came off the bench yesterday, had a real nice at-bat. Now leadoff double here in the 8th. And again, the willingness to hit the ball to all fields really paying off for Clevenger.
And Sean Dunston Jr. A pinch run for him.
On top of that high heater. Not easy to do.
Talking earlier about sons of former major leaguers, there's Sean Dunston Jr.
That makes me feel old. Where's the Sean-O-meter?
So if everything that's happened to you today, that makes you feel old. Valbuena pops it up. Dunston taken by the Cubs in the 2011 draft in the 11th round. Left-handed hitter.
Arm?
That's a good question. I haven't seen him play. His dad was the first overall pick in the '82 draft.
His dad hit like 700 in high school or something crazy like that.
Sean, a very proud former Cub. They get the leadoff double by Clevenger. 3 shots to get that go-ahead run in. Now Buena popped out. Lillibridge with a check swing grounder to second. Johnson will throw him out. Pinch hitter Wellington Castillo. Well, the runner at third, 2 gone.
I showed you last time the runner at third, nobody out. There's what, an 83% chance? Obviously, it's more difficult now with just one more whack at it.
And the Cubs get the lead. How about that? The Angels tied it up on a pass ball. This one gets away from Snyder, and the Cubs lead 7-6.
And that is fair play. A little tougher handle in the dirt. Snyder not able to get out there quickly enough to square up behind that ball as it squirted through. And Cubs take the lead. I would say Dunston checks in, but that would be a lame movie reference. We're just not going to stand for that.
We're going to have a fun season, partner. I have a feeling.
Gonna have some fun at the ballpark.
That's right. 2-1.
It's very important to throw the lame pun or one-liner out there with the disclaimer at the same time. Immediately get yourself off the hook.
I'm embarrassed to say I never saw that movie. But apparently you're not embarrassed to say you did.
It did not win any Academy Awards.
Ball 4.
Well, in the annals of chimpanzee movies, you know, it's in the top 5 or 10.
You know how many were made? 5 or 10.
Might have been an orangutan. Yeah. Something in the general monkey family. I don't know.
Well, we had star Jason Alexander in the booth a couple of years ago, and I failed to ask him about it. So we'll make sure it's on the list the next time he comes in.
He was probably stunned. I can't believe they didn't ask me about Edwin Jackson. Some of my finest work.
Well, what stunned us about Jason's appearance is that he had a full head of hair.
Yeah,
he did. Called strike. Cubs lead 7-6.
There was that Seinfeld episode, right, where he got the rug. John Lovitz.
I don't know if he was working on any particular role that required hair, but he had a lot of it. Angels pitch out. In the air. And it's caught by the first baseman, Taylor. Lindsey Taylor with the catch.
On Rules of
Chicago Cubs baseball has been brought to you by Budweiser. Great times are waiting. Grab some buds. And by Ford. Go further any one of Ford's many fuel-efficient vehicles. Check out America's freshest lineup at your local Ford store or at localfordstores.com. Rafael Dolis coming back from a finger blister. And trying for a save today. Carlos Marmol could get the win.
Dolis 0-1, 5.79 ERA. Through 5 Cactus League appearances. On offense today, 21 hits, 13 runs between these two clubs.
It is Shuck to start it. 2 hits, including an RBI double.
For Dolis, it's all about command. He's a hard thrower. Extreme hard thrower. Walks have been a real issue for him.
1-1. It's low. That's where you want Dolis to miss. Is up at all in the strike zone. Sinker ballers will get hit.
That flattens out on him, doesn't it? He may be one of those guys we were talking about last inning who gives the hitter a pretty good look at it, despite the fact that he's such a hard thrower.
Speaking of sinker ballers, encourage you to go to Rob Neyer's piece on BaseballNation.com about why sinker ballers theoretically get injured more often than other types of pitchers. And a lot of very interesting theories that have been thrown out there. They haven't done a ton of statistical research, but one of the ideas is that you hear this, that guys with a good two-seam fastball, mostly starting pitchers, they got it. Oh, Dolis just picked off Shuck, representing the tying run.
Shuck nailed earlier, trying to go first to second by Shearholtz. This time Dolis gets him with just an outstanding pickoff move.
So big first out.
So I'm curious because, first of all, I was not aware of the fact that there was a theory out there that sinker ballers got hurt more than power guys.
Brandon Webb, there are a few examples. But one of the ideas is that sinker ballers have better movement on their pitches and feel better when they're fatigued. Number one. Number two, the misnomer that a sinker baller can throw more pitches because of the idea that it doesn't wear out his arm as much because he's not throwing as hard as a four-seam guy, when in fact throwing a two-seamer does put wear and tear on your arm.
So there's a history of leaving those guys out there for long high pitch count outings more so than a power guy.
That's kind of the question that's been thrown out there. As Nyer writes, between working harder to keep their two-seam fastball in an effective range of speed and perhaps being encouraged to throw pitches when fatigued, we might expect them to suffer more fatigue-related injuries. So, just an interesting question more than anything else. This is trouble. And he dropped. A good job by Hairston to get it back in.
sure was. Off the bat, that looked like a double all the way. A situation there where you would be willing to take a shot to get into scoring position with one out. Harrison got over there in a hurry and forced the base runner to slam on the brakes. You know, the other thing, too, is, you know, we talk a lot about two-seamers and sinkers and four-seamers. Well, there are a lot of guys with two-seam fastballs that get a little run and a little sink, but it's not really a true sinker. Guys that get that good, hard-sinking action, you know, there's something about the delivery. You really got to make that happen, you know, out in front of your body, so that, you know, that arm action to kind of create that hard downward movement may be problematic as well.
Yeah, and that's certainly something that was brought up. By the way, it was Matt Young who just singled in the left. This is Cowart. So we will tweet the link to that article if you would like to look at it. Yeah. At Lennon JD, there's changeup artist Jay Chapman. That's low. Well, we saw Zach Putnam get in and out of some danger yesterday. One of those guys on the bubble. And Rafael Dolis, another one of those guys, trying to notch the save today. We saw Hisanori Takahashi earlier. Young has a shorter lead than Shuck did.
I have to say what happened to Shuck, and then seeing that pickoff move firsthand, yeah, I suspect he's going to be a little wary over there. You don't expect a big, gangly right-hander to be that quick to first base. And he's not afraid to put a little something on that throw.
Well, and it's not just the quick feet. I mean, the throws have been right on the button. Sure helps when you don't make the first baseman have to reach for it.
Yeah. Perfect spot with a little hair on it, too. I mean, he's turning it loose.
Well, Dolis trying to get a ground ball at one of his middle infielders. Instead, a fly ball out into left center for De Jesus. So 1 out away. It will be Chris Snyder. Strikes. The next WGN broadcast will be April 1st. The season opener in Pittsburgh at 12:30 Central. And we'll say no fooling. It is April 1st.
Should be a national holiday opening day, right?
Yeah.
No school.
Should be.
The Angels open up in Cincinnati, of all places. For the first time in Major League history, an opening day that includes interleague play.
Let's go, 19!
3-0.
I talked last time Chris Snyder was up that, you know, he's a guy who's a patient hitter, usually works a deep count, and has the ability to turn on a good fastball. We'll see if he gets a green light here.
He hasn't seen a strike yet. He's had 2 plate appearances. He's seen 7 pitches out of the strike zone. There's the first strike.
Not like he's presenting a small target. He's a big dude. Well, you'd prefer not to throw him a cookie here, but you got to throw a strike. Just, you know, good down and away fastball. Try to catch the outside part down around the knees, make him work to go out and get the ball a little bit.
Bounce to Valbuena. This will do it. Cubs win. Feliz gets the save. 7-6. Your final score. We'll be back.